Have you ever felt that prickle on the back of your neck? That sudden, gut-wrenching certainty that you are not alone, even when you're sure you are? We tell ourselves it's just our imagination, our minds playing tricks on us in the dark. But what if it's not? What if those moments of sheer terror are real? Tonight, we're not talking about fiction. We're delving into experiences that have been lived, breathed, and survived. Forget the movie monsters and scripted jump scares. These are 3 scary true horror stories, documented and real. So, turn down the lights, get comfortable, and prepare to question everything you thought you knew about the world after dark. The stories you are about to hear are real. The fear you are about to feel is genuine. Story 1. The Shadow in the Doorway. Our first story comes from a man named Mark, a retired paramedic who thought he'd seen everything the world had to throw at him. In 2018, Mark and his wife moved into a charming, older house in a quiet suburban neighborhood. The kind of place with a tire swing in the backyard and friendly neighbors. For the first few months, it was perfect. But then, the nights began to change. It started subtly. A misplaced object here, a door left ajar there. They blamed it on forgetfulness, the quirks of settling into a new home. But the feeling of being watched started to grow, a heavy, oppressive presence that seemed to cling to the upstairs hallway. Mark, a man of logic and reason, tried to dismiss it. But one night, that became impossible. He woke up around 3 a.m., a time that paranormal enthusiasts often call the witching hour. A strange noise had pulled him from sleep, a soft, rhythmic scratching coming from the hallway. He slipped out of bed, careful not to wake his wife, and crept towards the bedroom door. He peered through the small gap, his heart pounding in his chest. And that's when he saw it. Standing in the doorway of the guest bedroom, silhouetted against the dim moonlight filtering through the window, was a figure. It was tall, unnaturally thin, and completely devoid of features. It was a solid, 3-dimensional shadow, a void in the shape of a man. Mark froze, every instinct screaming at him to run, to scream, to do anything. But he was paralyzed by a fear so profound it felt like ice in his veins. The scratching sound? It was the figure's long, spindly fingers scraping against the wooden doorframe. Mark never saw the figure again, but the experience haunted him. He and his wife sold the house within a year, unable to shake the feeling that they were unwelcome intruders in a space that belonged to something else. This account remains one of the most chilling, unexplainable, and scary true horror stories he ever encountered, far surpassing any emergency call he ever answered. Our next tale takes us to the vast, dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, a place of stunning beauty, but also of deep, dark secrets. This story is from a group of 4 experienced hikers who, in the fall of 2021, embarked on a week-long trek through a remote section of the woods. What started as an adventure soon devolved into a nightmare they would never forget. On their 3rd night, miles from any known trail or civilization, they began to hear whispers. At first, they were faint, easily mistaken for the wind rustling through the towering pines. But the whispers grew clearer, more distinct. They were human-sounding, yet carried on the wind in a way that seemed impossible. The hikers, unnerved but determined, tried to ignore them, huddling closer to their campfire. The whispers continued, and then a new sound joined the chorus, a child's laughter. It was a joyful, innocent sound that had no place in the heart of that dark, foreboding wilderness. It echoed from all directions at once, playing tricks on their senses. Panic began to set in. They would call out, and the laughter would stop, only to resume moments later from a different direction. They were being toyed with, stalked by something they couldn't see. The true terror began when they started finding things. Small, meticulously crafted stick figures, arranged in circles just outside the ring of their firelight. Each morning, they would find more, placed closer and closer to their tents. They knew they had to get out. For 2 grueling days, they hiked relentlessly, the whispers and laughter following them, a constant, tormenting presence. They felt unseen eyes on them from the dense undergrowth. the feeling of being hunted growing with every step. They eventually stumbled back to civilization, exhausted, dehydrated, and deeply traumatized. They never went back, and to this day, they can't explain what they experienced in those woods. It was a raw and terrifying ordeal that proves some of the most scary true horror stories don't happen in houses, but in the wild, untamed corners of the world. Our final story comes from a long-haul truck driver named Sarah. Her route often took her down long, lonely stretches of highway late at night, a solitary existence she had grown accustomed to. But one particular night, on a desolate road in the heart of the Nevada desert, she had an encounter that made her question her sanity. She was driving, the monotonous ribbon of asphalt illuminated only by her headlights, when she saw a woman standing on the side of the road. She was wearing a simple, white dress, and she looked out of place, ethereal in the harsh glow of the truck's lights. Sarah's first thought was that she was in trouble, a breakdown perhaps. Against her better judgment, she pulled over. As she rolled down her window, the woman simply opened the passenger door and got in. She didn't say a word. Sarah, stunned, asked if she was okay, where she needed to go. The woman just stared ahead, a profound sadness in her eyes. An inexplicable chill filled the cab of the truck, so intense that Sarah could see her own breath. Feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, Sarah put the truck in gear and started driving. She tried to make conversation, her voice sounding small and fragile in the heavy silence. The woman never responded. After about 10 minutes, which felt like an eternity, Sarah glanced over to the passenger seat. It was empty. The woman was gone. The door had never opened. The truck had never stopped. Sarah slammed on the brakes, her heart hammering against her ribs. She was alone on that empty highway. Weeks later, while talking to another driver at a truck stop, she recounted her story. The older driver listened intently, his face pale. He told her about a local legend, a woman in a white dress who had died in a car crash on that very stretch of road decades ago. They say she still tries to hitch a ride home, a spectral passenger who vanishes as she nears the site of her death. Sarah now takes a different route, no matter how much longer it takes. She knows what she saw, and it stands as a chilling reminder that some ghost stories are more than just stories. They are scary true horror stories lived by real people on the loneliest roads in the world. The shadow in the doorway, the whispers in the woods, the phantom passenger. 3 different stories, 3 different sets of people united by a single, terrifying truth. The world is far stranger, and sometimes far more frightening than we can comprehend. These experiences can't be easily explained away. They linger in the minds of those who live them, a permanent scar of fear. What do you think? Have you ever had an experience you couldn't explain? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. And if you enjoyed these accounts and want to explore more of the unexplained, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more content that will make you question the darkness. Until next time, stay safe and try not to think too much about what might be standing just out of sight.